The family court is there for families and parents who are in dispute over a matter between children, or if it's a matter of protection or welfare of the child.
Or it can be public law, which can be things like adoptions and certain difficulties within families, and so the local authority and social workers will get involved.
We operate as a bench of three. You'll have one individual that is the presiding justice, and that's the individual, let's say, who is the voice of the bench. But as a collective, we will make the decision.
We are advised and supported by a professionally qualified lawyer who's called a legal advisor, and they will help us during the process of the case, guiding us on the law, and will also, most importantly, help us with the final judgment that we make. Anyone between the ages of 18 and 65 can become a family court magistrate, providing you don't have any serious criminal convictions.
Generally, none of us have legal backgrounds. We all come from multi-disciplines of jobs, employment.
Within the time I've been here, I've met individuals of different ages and different cultural backgrounds.
It's not a paid job, it's a voluntary role. You can claim expenses, travel expenses, and if you're doing a full day subsistence like lunch. Cases come into court and they're looked at by a district judge and a legal advisor, and then the cases will either go before a district judge or maybe even a higher level of circuit judge or the magistrates.
Generally, we get all the papers the night before ready to read.
And I think it's a real eye-opener to see the level that comes to us as magistrates. They are very, very complex with a lot of issues.
I wanted to give back a bit, but also use the brain a bit.
Because of the charity I work in, which is for housing for homeless young people, I actually see the other end of the result, where young people have left home because of very, very traumatic experiences. And for a child to be forced to leave home worried me and concerned me, and I thought if the court system and the professionals had been involved in these young people's lives earlier on, perhaps this person wouldn't be on the street.
I have my own children who have done well, and I thought, well, let me use some of the workings I had as a parent to see if I could make a difference in a child's life going forward.
You don't need qualifications, you definitely need common sense.
You generally have, I think it's about 3 days training at the beginning, but your training is continuous. They're looking for our logic, our competences, our history, our background. They're not looking for us to be legally trained.
It's a minimum of 13 days a year, that's full days generally. Most people do a lot more than that. It's a very busy bench, family bench, and I think the expectation is that you would do it for a minimum of 5 years.
Your personal commitment, I say, would be time, because there's a lot of reading.
You'll get an e-bundle, and these could be anything up to 400 or 500 pages, and you will need to make copious notes.
My favourite part about the role is having a resolution for the child, a best outcome for the child.
Parents that are able to agree something between themselves.
One of the key qualities is empathy and life experience. I think it's helpful if you've had quite a diverse life experience. You're dealing with a lot of different people in a lot of difficult situations.
You need to be able to listen. I think you need to be analytical and not have the noise around. I think you have to have an understanding that all families work in different ways.
You hear some very harrowing stories, and there is no question about it. You will have narratives coming from two parents who will be very vocal in their positioning. It's really important that you can communicate a judgment that people can understand. And by people, I mean people right the way through whose first language may not be English.
For me personally, it's having a quiet temperament.
My manager did support my role as a magistrate, and I was given the time to partake in my role as a magistrate as paid.
All the people I work with know that I'm a magistrate. They know how important it is to me to be a magistrate, and on the days that I'm in court, they know that they won't be able to get a hold of me all the time, but they will be able to get hold of me at lunchtime and after court.
I'm very fortunate in that my manager sits in the youth courts. She encourages magistrates from within the organisation. Magistrates learn a huge amount of social skills as well as intellectual skills, debating skills, but also skills of balance and professionalism that come through the process of being in a magistrate's court. And all of those skills they take back to their work.
If you were thinking of becoming a magistrate, it's important that you understand the commitment that is required. You need to be reliable, and you need to understand that within that commitment there will be a lot of reading, a lot of deciphering of information.
So learn to make notes. I use a lot of diagrammatic displays so I can see what's happened from one parent's point of view and another. If you are applying, take your time to give examples of how you meet those 6 competencies.
Family court is closed, whereas adult court isn't. I would say come and see, come and watch, maybe once, twice, 3 times to get a feeling for it. Certainly my life has been enhanced by being an adult and a family magistrate. I couldn't recommend it more.
Please come and join us. We need you. We really need you.